Good morning. Welcome to the Economic Development and Planning Committee meeting. It's Monday, January 27th, 2025, 10:04 a.m. Sharon, would you call the roll?
As a reminder to all in attendance, this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the county's YouTube page. Calling the roll, Mr. Kelly.
Here.
Ms. Turner. Ms. Turner is absent. Mr. Miller.
Present.
Mr. Gallagher.
Here.
Ms. Simon. Ms. Simon is absent at the moment. And let the record reflect that Councilmember Michael Hauser is also in attendance. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Hauser. Is there any public comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one has signed in.
Thank you. We have some minutes in our packet. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes from the December 2nd, 2024 meeting? Okay, I will move that. Is there any second? Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any comment?
No public comment.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Thank you. Okay.
First item, Resolution 2025-0003, awarding a total sum not to exceed $184,000 to Manufacturing Works for the Supply Chain and Workforce Alignment Project from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
My name is Marilyn Moshinsky. I am the Outreach and Development Officer for Manufacturing Works. I brought with me Chelsea Trebaniak, and our other team members is Howard Thompson from Manufacturing Works and Dr. Stuart Mendel from Baldwin Wallace University. Chelsea's going to do our presentation for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
And good morning, gentlemen, ladies. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having us. It is a true honor this morning to speak to you about our supply chain and workforce alignment project that we've referred to as SWAP. This is a collaboration, as Marilyn had mentioned, between Baldwin Wallace, Manufacturing Works, Critical Ops, and also the Northeast Ohio Flight Information Exchange. What we're proposing to is a very forward-thinking ability to address advanced air mobility workforce and supply chain challenges both in Northeast Ohio and throughout the state. So why am I here today? I am the founder of Critical Ops, which is a woman-owned small business right here in Westlake, Ohio. We are also a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business. And we are the result of these efforts that you funded to date and will continue to benefit from such initiatives moving forward. We do remote sensing, which uses drones to do critical infrastructure inspections. The benefit is multifold in that we're using advanced technology and we're also generating jobs right here in Northeast Ohio. This industry is expected to grow very substantially. We expect it to be a $17 billion market by 2035. What does that do? That advances countless opportunities and applications for these funds, and that we will generate manufacturing, we will also enhance public safety, and we'll continue with the infrastructure inspections that are already proving beneficial. This is not us standing back and merely observing these changes. We are leading forward and motivating such changes. Our approach to this endeavor is certainly not passive, as I've mentioned. We are uniting members of the community and industry through both partnerships and programs that drive real-world results. We expect this to generate 25 full-time permanent jobs and sustainable operations, particularly under Manufacturing Works. We also expect, together with this SWAP, as we've referred to it, the Supply Chain and Workforce Alignment Project, we will continue to build an ecosystem that prioritizes education, innovation, and economic growth. So in closing, I share with you a bit of a unique picture, which is not aerial imagery. It is actually using LiDAR, which is a light and reflection capability that's a payload attached to a drone. This is Berea Mid-Park Middle School. We are able to provide this scan along with a program that was led for after-school students over an 8-week period. It also allowed law enforcement to step in and explain the future of this profession and the use of drones in it. It generated an opportunity, and we look forward to many more under this work that we're proposing, and we're excited to take this bold step, again, in Northeast Ohio, so we're not just part of AAM, we're actually shaping it. At this time, are there any questions, please?
Mr. Miller.
So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for hearing this legislation. And as I thought about what the remaining District 2 ARPA funds could be used for that would have a lasting and positive impact on our community. I focused on strengthening the infrastructure around the key economic development institutions that are operating in and around my district. And so this legislation will help Manufacturing Works to create a long-term process to interact with hundreds of supply chain businesses and build this new air mobility developing industry. And then the second one, which you're going to hear next, helps build the organizational capacity for the Aerozone Alliance, which helps take advantage of the technology capabilities created by our proximity to NASA Glenn Research Center and the airport. So I ask for your approval of the legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I have a question. Are there performance benchmarks in place to assess the effectiveness of the award?
Yes, sir. We have several. So we're going to begin with a customer discovery and business analysis component. That report that will be published is also going to be shared through a public event. We're also going to run several programs, very similar to how I presented Berea being one of the school systems. We plan for at least 2 of those, and that would be 2 benchmarks that engage children as a youth development project. We also will have those discovery efforts. We're blending into a VR and MRO center initiative, which will bring this technology to fruition, and the development of that project will also be a benchmark.
All right, thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, so the ARPA awards have to go to full 3 meetings compared to some different types of awards that can be under suspension. So this would go to 3. Questions are done. We require the 3 readings. Would you like to make the motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we favorably refer Resolution 2025-0003 to the full council for second reading. This would place it on track for final passage on February 11th.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. We have a second by Mr. Gallagher. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. The
Thank you.
staff will explain about the 3 reading thing.
Roger, thank you, sir.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Resolution 2025-0004, awarding a total sum not to exceed $120,000 to the Arizona Alliance for the Arizona Financial Stability Initiative from the District 2 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Rashu Mahalaha. I'm the Executive Director of the Arizona Alliance. Thank you, Councilman Gallagher, Councilman President Miller, Councilman Kelly, Councilman Turner, Councilman Hauser. We appreciate your time. I'll give you a quick walkthrough of who we are and what we're, the impact that the organization is having. As Council President Miller began to state, the Arizona Alliance was created because we imagine a massive economy potential in Northeast Ohio related to space and aviation. We have incredible assets. We have Ohio's largest airport. We have 1 of 10 NASA centers in our backyard, and we believe there's a potential to grow the aerospace economy in Northeast Ohio. Over the last 3 years, we have been working diligently to drive this economy, and I want to share some data points with you. On slide 2, you will see the impact of collective action. What happens when we work with local municipalities, our council leaders, our regional partners, our state partners, federal partners. The impact summarized here outlines roughly 1,600 jobs created or retained, creating about $43 million in payroll, $1 million approximately in local payroll taxes, $73 million in capital investment. This is all happening because our businesses in our backyard, in space, manufacturing, in aviation are aspiring and seeking growth. And so the infrastructure that we are helping create with our sort of array of partners is having the right impact. As we go forward, The funding we're asking for, the requesting, is for helping create organizational sustainability. Currently, about 60% of our funding comes through local government sources, about 15-20% comes from philanthropy, and the remaining 10% from private sector. We believe that now that we have demonstrated that the organization can create real, meaningful value for our businesses and our various partners, we can expand our financial support. So once we've created the value, we'd like to now monetize the value by focusing in 3 different areas: private sector business growth, funding growth, philanthropic funding growth, and federal funding growth. Last year, we received our first federal grant from Economic Development Administration, which is a planning grant. We believe that we can now use the planning grant to go after more federal dollars. So we're seeking support to help us build this infrastructure of our organization. The last 2 slides, I just want to show you just sort of a little bit of kudos for ourselves and all of our partners. But we were able to map all of our real estate assets last year. And what you're seeing now is an immense number of real estate projects that are now starting to brew around the airport. If you add the potential of these opportunities, we're looking at approximately 1,000 jobs related to space and aviation. So this is the power of what happens when one part of our county starts to work collectively. Thank you so much. I'll take any questions that you have.
So you mentioned those 3 strategic points. Are those the targets that you're looking for to determine if the Aerozone financial sustainability is successful?
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Miller.
So, the discussion has gone on for decades. We have a NASA Glenn Research Center. Why can't we be more like Houston, Texas, and Huntsville, Alabama, and places like that where the NASA Glenn facility creates a neighborhood of economic development, high technology spin-offs, and we've talked about it for decades, but not a whole lot has happened until recently. But with the coming of the Aerozone Alliance and the strength of the Aerozone Alliance is in the partnerships that it's created. It's working with the county, and it's working with the municipalities, and it's working with the major economic development institutions in the county like Jumpstart and Team Neo, and we're starting to get a critical mass of partnership and collaboration that's necessary, and we're finally making good progress, and this grant will build on that progress and help the Aerozone Alliance achieve the long-term financial stability that it needs to work effectively for years to come. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? All right. Seeing none, again, all ARPA requests have to go for 3 readings. Would you like to make the motion?
Yes, I will move that we favorably recommend Resolution 2025-0004 to the full council for second reading.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Gallagher. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
And I'd like the record to reflect that Ms. Turner and Ms. Simon are now in attendance.
Welcome.
Resolution 2025-0016, awarding a total sum not to exceed $350,000 to the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland for the Empowering Cuyahoga County's Opportunity Zones Project from the District 9 ARPA Community Grant Fund.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning to the rest of the council members. My name is Cecil Lipscomb. I'm the president and CEO of the United Black Fund of Greater Cleveland, and this is Adrian Sims, our our coordinator of development. We're here today just requesting a $350,000 grant from the ARPA funds, in particular in District 9. So at this point, I'd like to just briefly go through a little bit of our background. UBF, United Black Fund, is the largest Black federated organization in the state of Ohio. Our mission is to acquire, accumulate, and allocate funds to alleviate suffering, poverty, and illiteracy.
What we do, we create wealth in the community to help meet the unmet needs of this community by providing resources, programming, and opportunities for the nonprofit organizations, the micro businesses, and the entrepreneurs to do the work that we want to see done in the community. How we do it? Well, we offer fiscal sponsorships to more than 10 organizations in Northeast Ohio. We provide over $400,000 in grant funding to over 80 nonprofits and organizations in this region. We run entrepreneurship cohorts through our Mortar Cleveland program, and we make investments in businesses and enterprises through MUSA.
Could I have your name, please?
Adrian Sims.
Thank you.
Thank you. So today, there are 64 opportunity zones throughout here in Cuyahoga County. We have an interest in supporting and operating workforce development programs that target those areas. Our efforts are not specifically in a particular opportunity zone. I want to make that clear right now because they may change with federal changes here in the state. At this point, by building capacity in local organizations and equipping residents with in-demand skills, the initiatives seek to create a sustained career pathways to low and moderate income individuals throughout our county. As you see, it's a map here that identifies the current opportunity zones as it stands. We are flexible in how we can adjust that. And what I'd like to just identify just briefly is the need statement. Our efforts here in Ohio, and in particular this state, have been wonderful in terms of workforce development and economic development, and I thank you all for that. We are attempting to bring forward some of the requests from our community. We currently fund initiatives throughout this area, like Towards Employment and others. We are expanding our efforts to hone in and target particular industries like hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare, and information technology.
Our timeline is Q1, we will recruit a team to take care of this, a project manager. Q2, we'll launch training programs. Q3, monitor participant progress. And Q4, we'll complete the training, support the job placement, and evaluate the program outcomes, focusing on job placements.
So this effort will target 200 residents annually by providing certifications and essential job skills within the sectors and industries that are identified. The impact will continue. We are anticipating that the county will fund half of this year's budget of this initiative. We will seek through our other partnerships and other sources, other funding. At this point, creating replicable models, collaborating between educational institutions. We want to leverage the existing infrastructure that is on the ground here doing wonderful work. We're just filling in the gaps with the citizens that are in high demand or in need for industries that are in high demand for labor force. So this concludes our presentation. We are here and welcome any questions of the council.
Thank you for your presentation. After these dollars are spent, how will we measure the success of the opportunity? So,
our effort will be measuring the amount of people going through the program initially, so the number and volume of residents. So if we hit our mark of 200 citizens per year, that's one measure. The amount of certifications awarded to those individuals and the types of industries by sector. And then finally, because we are engaging the actual corporate community, we want to know hires, how many have been hired for the jobs that they've been trained for.
thank you. Ms. Turner.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Have anything you'd like to say? This is your ARPA, right?
Yes, it is. Well, I ask for my colleagues' support. We have expended many hours trying to decide on a way to invest in our community. When I say our community, and we know that the national climate is about to be very different. I wanted to continue the county's commitment to taking care of the least of us. I think that this workforce development plan is a start, and I look forward to seeing how we can expand this. Councilman Miller, I love the presentation that came previously. You know, these sectors, as outlined in their presentation, I mean, I don't know why we have to stop at hospitality, manufacturing, healthcare, and information technology. We need to find a way to connect some of these other opportunities going on in Cuyahoga County for a larger swath of our citizens. So with that, I want to thank United Black Fund for doing the research for probably about a year, for meeting with the county administration, Paul Herdig, to talk this through. So I think it's a plan worth investing, and I ask for my colleagues' support, and I open it up for you all if you have any further questions from them.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Okay. Would you like to make the motion?
I would. I ask that we move this to the full body of council for consideration.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. Thank you. So this, an ARPA award requires 3 full meetings for approval. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you,
The
and
staff
thank
will-
you to Councilwoman Turner for her support. She's been a tremendous partner through this all.
Staff will explain the next process going forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2025-0037, authorizing an economic development loan in the amount not to exceed $1,500,000 to WXZ CPV LLC and/or Taylor Tudor Tenant LLC as its designee to facilitate the redevelopment of the Taylor Tudor Plaza located on South Taylor Road in the city of Cleveland Heights.
Good morning, Chairman, Vice Chair, and committee members. Anthony Stella with the Department of Development. I have Matt Carey here with me, who's new on our staff, and I have some other new staff that are in attendance here, Aaron Kinney and Nick Fedor, and representing the developer, Missy Furchel is here as their consultant, and Matt Weimer is here to discuss the Taylor Tudor project. And
Thank you.
thank you. So I'll begin by talking about the project site. The project is located Taylor Road. It's a collection of 3 historic buildings with the addresses there in District 10. The borrower in this deal will be Taylor Tudor Tenant LLC and also possibly WXZ CPV. These are 2 entities that were created for this project. There's a separate entity created for the tax credit purposes. The owners of this entity, it's MRN Development, which is James and Matthew Weimer, and it was created to facilitate redevelopment of this project. And the developer has vast experience in historic real estate developments and including new infill projects in historic neighborhoods. So they have projects throughout Cleveland neighborhoods, including University Circle, Little Italy, and within suburban communities, Cleveland Heights, Lakewood, and also projects in both North and South Carolina. So to talk about the project itself, these are the collection of buildings that many may be familiar with on Taylor Road in Cleveland Heights. It's a collection of 3 mixed-use buildings near Kane Park. This project is a first phase of a holistic approach to revitalizing the commercial district there. The multi-phase project is known as Kane Park Village. So it'll include pairing the historic preservation of these buildings with some new buildings on the opposite side of the street. The overall project will include retail, office, performance arts, and tying in recreational and other amenities of the neighborhood. So there will be some streetscape improvements in the public as part of the project as well. And the next phases will be done subsequently in two separate phases. For this project specifically, they're looking to transform these buildings to include 44 apartments, 8 live-work units, and then 11,000 square feet of retail space. So they're seeking this loan from the county to fill the gap in the capital stack. Here's a sort of overview of the whole Kane Park Village area. And the loan they're asking for, which was reviewed by our loan committee and recommended for approval, is a loan in the amount of $1,500,000 at 5.5% interest, a 2-year interest-only period during construction, then followed by a 15-year term based on a 20-year amortization schedule. This project is expected to create 43 new jobs with approximately 2.1 million of annual payroll. And this is going to help to catalyze that neighborhood there. It's part of a redevelopment. It's going to help advance transit-oriented development. Will add residents, jobs, and visitors to the site and to the neighborhood. Overall project, as we see, it's just under $26 million of new investment. We can kind of follow down some of those sources there. There's $3.5 million in federal tax credits, another $4.7 million state tax credits. There's a state brownfield grant of just over $2 million. The developer direct equity of about $2.6 million. A senior loan, which I can go over in a little more detail on the next page, of $10.1 million. Another grant from Vibrant Communities of $250,000. They're going to defer a portion of the developer fee, and the county will fill out that gap of $1.5 million. So the debt service on this project, there's going to be the 2 loans. First loan from Premier Bank is just over $10 million with an interest rate of 7.84, which is based on a index plus a specific spread. And that loan will carry 3 years of interest only. It's a 5-year term based on a 30-year amortization schedule. And overall, the debt service was reviewed favorably by our loan committee. The loan will be guaranteed by both James and Matthew Weimer, and will carry a loan-to-value of 84.4%, which includes the $10 million from that senior loan based on a stabilized appraisal from a third party of $13.8 million. At this point, I can open it up for questions or ask the developer to come up and speak further on the project, however you would like to handle that.
So there's going to be jobs created? with
Yes.
this?
Yes. So there's already one lease signed with a real estate firm that will be occupying a portion of the retail space. The remaining jobs will then be in those remaining retail street front spaces on the site.
So how long does the company have to create the jobs?
Our deals usually have 3 years from project completion date. So, if it's a 2-year construction, we're looking at about, 5 years from now. That's usually, we put that in our contract terms.
Okay, and what happens if the jobs that are anticipated aren't created fully?
That would usually be an issue that our servicing would bring up if that does happen, and we would reach out to the borrower to figure out what the issues are with the jobs. Often if there's overall any kind of economic downturns or other issues like that, we may extend a couple years, just kind of depending on the macroeconomic climate that's happening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions?
I do.
Simon?
Oh, thank you so much. So what tenants are in this space now?
I believe this building is vacant currently.
Totally vacant. What's across the street? Is it developer? Is it the
Currently vacant.
B&B or?
Across the street, there's a
Yes.
there's a small retail plaza there. It's kind of set back from the
Okay.
road, and there's parking up in front.
So the developers?
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, the developers are here, Matt Weimer and Missy Furch.
You're the chair. Do you want to come up and is it vacant, the space?
Thank you. It is. Yep. All
Okay,
three
the
buildings,
space is
100%.
vacant. I'm happy to see this project for sure. It's an underutilized space in the city. Real estate second lien, how secure is that if it's a vacant building and the value to ratio of what our exposure will be?
We're going to have a loan to value of 84% is what I think I had gone over. So as we always make our loans based on the stabilized value of the real estate. So our requirements are 90%. So we're under that amount. So this is a very common structure that we do on our deals. And, so we take that lien, once it's leased up, then, we're pretty well secured on that asset.
Okay. So the terms that we're going to be approving today went through the triple CIC, right?
That's correct, yes.
So in anticipation of legislation that I have before us today, if there's changes to those terms, would you be there's no requirement for you to go back to the CCIC, right? As it stands now.
If there's any changes to the terms, we usually bring those back because we'd have to come back to this body as well.
You bring it back to this body.
Yes, and before I would come here, I would go to the CCCIC.
Well, okay, we'll get to that in the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
piece of legislation. So I'd like to incorporate these terms into this legislation, that we have security, 84, the real estate second lien, as well as personal guarantees. Is there a way to do that? Because I want to make sure that what we approve today is going to be
Yes.
actually what happens.
Yes, we can definitely,
that?
definitely include that, yep.
And I don't want to take over the meeting. Mr. Chair, the law director, or former law director, Greg Huth, wants to say something.
Yeah, to Mr. Chairman, to the councilman's question, we could simply add a clause to the resolution that says the whereas clauses are incorporated, because he's got all the terms spelled out in the whereas
Okay.
clauses. We could
Okay.
figure out how to do that.
So if there's any subsequent change, it definitely would have to come back to him in the
Yeah,
legislation.
if they're incorporated, Councilwoman,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Okay.
Can I make a motion that the whereas clauses in this proposed ordinance be part of the actual legislation? Is that what you want me to say?
Yeah,
or- Yes.
something like that.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, all in favor or further discussion?
And just on this point, we'll put that in as a proposed
Amendment?
substitute for second reading.
Okay. So what's the motion then? Should I just move here that we
I think you
make
would
this
just-
amendment in committee to,
Yeah, you just
add-
amend the resolution to incorporate the whereas
okay,
clauses.
the whereas clauses? Okay,
Yeah, that was my bad.
okay, we have a first and a second.
All in favor of adding the whereas clause?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay.
And, is it all right? I wanted
I'm
to,
not-
yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm done.
I wanted to make one correction when I was presenting. I said the name of the developer was MRN, but the name of the developer is actually WXZ Development.
WXZ.
So I just want that on the record as well, that I misspoke when I was presenting. That's the deal coming next week, so.
So just further, this fire won't impact in Cleveland Heights, your sector in Cleveland Heights at all?
It won't.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say how terrible that is, and I'm sorry to my colleague in District 10 that happened, and slowed down some momentum, I think. But we appreciate this because hopefully that will keep generating development that, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Miller is next, and then Mr. Hauser.
Through the chair, the amortization schedule is longer than the length of term for both of the loans. Does that mean there's going to be balloon payments at the end?
Yes. Yes, typically, when you're referencing both of the loans, typically on the deals that we bring forward, the construction loan is what we call like a mini perm. So that'll get into place to help the construction and get the project started. And there's always an anticipation that there'll be a refinancing event on that balloon. And then there'll also be a balloon on ours in year, 17. But we wanted to have the 20-year amortization to make the deal work better financially. But we don't like to keep our monies out there that many years. We'd like to try to bring it back, so, it'll come back in 5 years earlier in this case.
Okay. And can you explain what live-work units are and who would use those?
Sure, I can give you an overview of how I understand it. Usually artists or artisans may live in the space and have a studio where they might be doing some of their work, or, gallery space. I don't know if I've kind of covered that. So that's typically that type of, what that type of space would be for.
And regarding the 42 apartment units, what's the affordability?
These are market rate units. I don't know if I have the rental rates here, but they will be market rate units. And I apologize that I don't think I have the actual, oh.
Can you get that for us?
Is that the correct amount from the, this is from the appraisal? So they'd be about, average about 1,800 per unit.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Mr. Hauser?
Through the chair to the speaker, I just wanted to echo Councilwoman Simon's sentiments. I am excited to see this project in District 10. I think it preserves historic architect job creation, as well as much needed apartments and living space, especially after the terrible fire this past weekend. So I'm happy to co-sponsor this loan, and you guys have my full support.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm going to put my name on here too. I spend a great deal of time as a neighboring district in Cleveland Heights.
Please add the councilwoman's name. Are there any other questions? Okay. I'll make a motion to move this item to the full body of the council for a second reading, and there will be a substitute, proposed substitute at that point. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Are there any comments or opposition? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution 2025-0044, authorizing the county executive to sign a petition in support of continuing the Downtown Cleveland Improvement District, requesting that certain county properties be included in the district.
Good morning, council members.
Hey, Chief.
How are you? Katie Gallagher from the Executive Office. The county executive would like to continue our support of Downtown Special Improvement District. As you know, we've been supporting this for about since 2010 or even more. In the last couple of years, we've been doing that as by way of through the Economic Development Fund as a pilot payment in lieu of taxes, and also some operating support to a tune of about $130,000 a year. So the reason we'd like to continue is we want to continue our investment in downtown. We have a lot of real estate here. We have a lot of employees that work here, and we put millions of dollars into other investments. So we believe in a clean and safe downtown, among other things that Downtown Cleveland Alliance does. So just some housekeeping matters. We've put before you a proposed substitute. Greg Huth did a couple amendments, specifically to Section 3. We are modifying that first year amount for 2026 to $184,655.41. That was due to an error from me. I looked back on 1 year of taxes as if you were paying back, but DCA had provided me a spreadsheet that showed the actual year. So that's updated, as well as we added a clause to show the full amount for the 7-year duration. This would have to go through our budget yearly, so we cannot put that in here. So I wanted to make sure that you guys see the total amount. And so I will let DCA come up here and do their presentation, but I'll be around if you have any questions from the executive office.
Thank you, Chief Gallagher. Mr. Chairman, I'm Michael Deemer, President and CEO of Downtown Cleveland, Inc. I'm grateful to be here today and have the opportunity to address the committee. Grateful for your consideration of this legislation. As Chief Gallagher noted, we're here today to respectfully request the committee's support for authorizing the county to officially opt into the Special Improvement District in downtown, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in my presentation. What I'd like to do is talk a little bit about our organization and its role in downtown, dwell specifically on the role of managing the Special Improvement District, and then open it up to any questions that you may have. Make sure I press the right button here.
Green button in the middle.
There it goes. Okay. I am joined today by the chair of the Downtown Cleveland Improvement Corporation Board that is responsible for the Improvement District, Tom Coyne. I would like to note that I'm here speaking on behalf of Karen Fanger, our executive chair, as well as Rob Falls, our DCA chair. A little bit about the organization. We are Downtown's development and advocacy organization. We are the only nonprofit that is focused exclusively and entirely on building up the heart of the city, the heart of the region, downtown. We like to say we work from the sidewalk to the skyline and on everything in between to improve the economy, the environment, and the experience in downtown Cleveland. Our vision of downtown is of a vibrant, welcoming place that weaves together downtown districts and the surrounding areas into a truly seamless urban fabric that's greater than the sum of its parts. Our mission is quite simple: to attract people, jobs, and investment to the core of downtown. Our core values as an organization are that we're inclusive, innovative, and influential, and we really think of this as almost an equation. The more inclusive we are as an organization, the more voices and perspectives we bring in to shaping the organization and the future of downtown, the more innovative we're going to be, because we're bringing more ideas, more perspectives to the table. And we know innovation is the key to a stronger, more vibrant downtown. And the more perspectives we have, the more innovative we're being, the more influential as an organization we're going to be over the direction of downtown's future. Our strategic plan was adopted by our board of directors back in October of 2022, so we're not quite halfway through implementing that plan. You can see the key issues that we identified in that plan are the key issues facing downtown today. Safety, public realm connectivity, the state of the storefront economy, and the state of the office market. These are the challenges facing downtown Cleveland. These are the challenges facing downtowns across the country. We evolved and built our organization to effectively address those challenges. We're one organization, one vision, one brand, one team, united around the Downtown Cleveland brand. So you'll hear us talk about ourselves as Downtown Cleveland. We have 3 entities under that umbrella, and I'm going to talk about each of those very, very briefly because I know there were some questions about them. Downtown Cleveland, Inc. is our executive board. It's made up of the officers of DCA and DCIC and a couple of at-large members from the boards. Its role is leadership of the organization in downtown. It functions as the executive committee of the whole. It leads strategy and advocacy as well as economic development and supports placemaking and safety across downtown. Its revenue derives primarily from membership and partnership dues. DCA is our 501c3 arm. It's comprised of business and civic leaders as well as residents. Its role is corporate and community engagement. It leads on placemaking and supports economic development and safety initiatives. It is funded primarily through sponsorships, earned income, and philanthropic support. DCIC is the entity that governs the Special Improvement District. I'm going to dwell on that this morning. It's comprised of property owners within the district. Its role is property owner engagement and managing the Special Improvement District funds. It leads our Clean and Safe program in district governance. It supports economic development and placemaking, and it's funded through a special assessment that property owners pay. We organize our body of work around 3 business centers: place management, which is our Clean and Safe program, programming and activation, public realm maintenance, Downtown Cleveland Champions, which is organizational and downtown strategy, policy advocacy, marketing, communications, and fundraising, economic development and planning, which is really about shaping the economic future of downtown. I'm going to talk in just a little more depth about the Special Improvement District, since that's really what we're here to talk about today. Special Improvement Districts are governed by Chapter 1710 and 727 of the Ohio Revised Code. An improvement district is formed when owners within a district come together and petition the local city to assess themselves an additional property tax in exchange for enhanced services being provided to that district. The city levies the special assessment that funds those services. The district, as I described, is governed by a board that is comprised of property owners from the district. Government entities like the city, like the county, like the state and federal government are exempt under Ohio law, but Ohio law gives government entities the option to opt into the district. This is the map of the current district. In black, outlined in red, is the adjacent Superior Arts Improvement District, which is a separate entity that we also manage. And just a few words about the Downtown Cleveland Improvement District. Property owners through the district, private property owners, contribute just over $5 million a year. About 80% of these funds are allocated on an annual basis to our Clean and Safe program. Many of you are familiar with those services. Our ambassadors provide services 7 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week, 363 days a year. The wages for ambassadors start at $16 an hour plus benefits. We have safety specialists that are a higher skilled position. Those positions begin at $25 an hour plus benefits. Less than 8% of the assessments go toward program management and administration. The remaining 15% supports downtown economic development and placemaking initiatives. And I'd also like to note we raise through DCA and Downtown Cleveland, Inc. a near 100% match of the funds that are contributed into the improvement district. This gives you a sense of how funds are typically budgeted in the improvement district. Again, about 76% this year were budgeted towards the Clean and Safe program. You can see about 9.6% went towards economic development initiatives, 4.7% to placemaking and activation, 7.7% towards management, and 2% budgeted towards reserves. Our Clean and Safe program, again, they are very visible. Many folks in the community, hopefully many of you are familiar with our ambassadors. In addition to the ambassador services, we have a court watch program that works with the county prosecutor, the city law department, judicial staff to make sure that businesses are informed as they have been impacted by crime about the status of cases. We've been successful in working with court staff and prosecutors to make sure that cases that really should be dealt with in the mental health docket are being dealt with appropriately in that docket. It's been a very well-received, impactful program. We are piloting smart cameras across downtown, currently in Public Square. We see this as a very important part of the improvement district's future, allowing us to deploy ambassadors more efficiently and more quickly. We have compassionate care outreach that engages with residents who are unsheltered or in need of social services to connect them with housing or services as is appropriate. And we also monitor and report on the state of the public realm. So we identify when streetlights are out, when ADA ramps are out of compliance, need a repair, report those to the city of Cleveland and formulate a repair and remediation plan. I just want to share a little bit about the impact of the improvement district. What you see in front of you are the statistics from 2024 alone. We collected over 740,000 pounds of trash, conducted over 27,000 hospitality assists. That's helping visitors as they're navigating downtown. Provided nearly 7,000 security checks, removed over 2,000 graffiti tags, provided over 400 safety escorts over the course of the year. So the improvement district has been very impactful. The partnership with the county has been very, very important to us. We're hopeful about the opportunity to institutionalize the support of the county. I think the county's participation as a voting member of the improvement district would send a strong signal to private property owners who've been investing in the district for many years that the county is supportive and values the services. And I'd also note that I'm very optimistic about where downtown is headed. But I do think we're at an inflection point. We had a lot of momentum coming out of when we were heading into the pandemic, adding jobs, adding residents, building a more walkable downtown. The pandemic hit downtowns across the country very hard. I do think that we're better positioned than many downtowns across the country. We're a national leader in office conversions. Many cities and many downtowns are trying to figure that out as they come out of the pandemic. They're looking to us to learn how we do it. But we're facing very strong headwinds. We have a number of office buildings that are facing foreclosure or receivership. We have apartment buildings now that are struggling. And we know that our leadership, our services are going to be more important than ever going forward. The county's support and contributions would be very important, very valued. With that, again, I respectfully ask for your support and look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Do other public entities provide funding for the three organizations you discussed?
Mr. Chairman, yes. RTA and NOACA are both voting members of the district, so they vote as property owners that contribute the property assessment. The Federal Reserve makes a payment in lieu and has for many, many years. And we've received operating support in varying amounts over the years from the city of Cleveland, specifically most recently for programming and managing Public Square. I would like to note that just last month, Cleveland City Council did vote to opt in to the Special Improvement District as a voting member for the first time.
Can you provide us a list of board members for each of the three organizations?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. In fact, I brought printouts with me, so I'd be happy to leave those with you.
If you could give them to the clerk, please.
I will do that.
And what entities they represent, and what's the appointment process for those memberships?
I have a list. The list provides board members divided by entity. I can speak to the nominating process, Mr. Chairman. We have a joint nominating committee that serves the entities, and the committee regularly reviews potential nominees to the board and recommends appointments to the board. I would say in this specific instance, the Ohio Revised Code gives two appointments to the host city. So the mayor and city council president, in this case, have statutory appointments to the DCIC board. Our intention, should the county elect to opt in, would be would be to provide parity and have the county executive and council president at the county also have appointments.
Any other questions?
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Simon, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I want to understand, thank you for presenting what is happening here. So there's already, are there, how many, is there, how many SIDS are there under this umbrella? Just one or three?
We managed two, the Superior Art, Mr. Chair, to the Councilwoman, the Superior Arts District and the Downtown Cleveland Improvement District. We are here to talk about the Downtown Cleveland Improvement District.
Just the, okay, the second,
Yes.
one of two.
Yeah.
Okay. I was under the impression there was a third one forming? No?
Mr. Chair, to the Councilwoman, there may be another forming in another part of the city, but not within downtown.
Okay, so the ask from us is to become a voting, to join the, what particular one again? The
Mr. Chair, to the Councilwoman, the request is to join the Downtown Cleveland Improvement District.
DCI.
Yes.
Okay, and that would be an umbrella over the districts, right? Kind of, or is it just ancillary?
Mr. Chair, to the Councilwoman, the umbrella organization is Downtown Cleveland, Inc. The request today is to opt into the Improvement District, which is under that umbrella.
DCIC.
Yes.
Okay. So if we do, when you said, you know, I think you preempted a question about why would the county do this and what would be the benefit to the county, because you're going to proceed with or without us on this board, correct? Your work that you've been doing forever. You've not had us in this role, so you'll proceed without the county either way.
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, yes, that's correct. We've, as I think Chief Gallagher noted, the county has been supporting the organization with a payment in lieu and operating support for many years, I think going back to about 2010. But we would move forward with the reauthorization of the Improvement District and continue to provide services that I would submit that county and county employees have benefited from over the years, but we would continue to do that.
Well, of course, we're benefiting. We're also giving you a general fund subsidy of $130,000, right? So this isn't a charitable, you know, we've been involved with supporting your organization since the day we started the new government. So
Absolutely.
I understand that we're getting a benefit, but you must express to this council that we've been generously subsidizing your budget since then.
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon and members of the committee, absolutely. I mean, the support of the county and this council has been very helpful and important to the organization. It's part of a partnership that I think has been very fruitful for downtown in the community. So I think what we're asking today, respectfully, is to continue, evolve, and build upon that partnership.
Okay, so you're asking us to take it to the next level, I guess, and become a voting member. I don't know how that benefits the county, because you're asking us to pay more to join this, on this seat and vote. So we have to pay more to have a vote.
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, I would note, first of all, there is current representation from the county on the DCA board. Debbie Berry from the County Executive Office currently serves on that board. And I think the benefit here to the county is the services of the district, which are very, very important, the clean and safe services, the work that we do with this government body and others to improve our parks and public spaces, the connectivity, the business attraction and retention. So we continue that work. I think
Okay, I'm going to
that,
stop you here. We're already doing that, right?
Yes.
Whether this passes or not, you're still doing that. And we're paying money. Okay, number one. So I guess, I don't want to, I think we have someone coming up here as a lifeline, but what I heard you say through the chair respectfully is that one of the reasons you're asking us to support this is to show support that we value your services. And we have shown that beyond $100,000. So that reason is kind of, it doesn't resonate well with me because it implies that somehow we've not shown support and that we haven't valued your services. I've been supportive of this since I got on this committee 13 years ago and generously have supported. So that reason needs to go away because it implies that somehow we don't value you and we don't support the services because we have. We have, correct?
Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Simon, you absolutely have, and I regret leaving any impression that I or the board or the staff have anything other than appreciation for the support we've received, and it did not mean to suggest that there was the county was not valuing the services. I think what I intended to communicate, and I'm going to ask my DCIC Chair, Tom Coyne, to elaborate in a moment, is that coming to the table to the improvement district as a voting member with the property owners would send a powerful signal to the property owners that the county is a full partner in
Okay.
the work
I
of
thought
the
you said Debbie
organization.
Berry is a voting member, no? Didn't I just hear that?
To the chair, Councilwoman Simon, she is.
So we have a voting member. We've been generously subsidizing the work you do. We appreciate and value this. I do. I know 100% that, on a snowy day, there's somebody out there. Oh, I'm sorry. So the real reason we're being asked to do this is to send a signal that already we have sent, and then to have additional votes, but it doesn't bring back any benefit to us that we don't already otherwise have. And that's the question or the statement, and I need clarity on that. We have a vote, we subsidize, we value, we've signaled from the pulpit. So I need to understand what this will do to benefit this county that we don't already enjoy and appreciate.
Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Simon, if I may invite my DCIC Chair, Tom Coyne, to say a few words.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Chair and Councilwoman Simon, if I may. So in
Excuse me,
terms
Mr. Coyne,
of,
can you just state your name for the record, please?
yes, Thomas J. Coyne, C-O-Y-N-E. And I just wanted to maybe more specifically address your question. So DCIC, this is all about DCIC, Downtown Cleveland Improvement Corporation. And it's a very important organization for downtown. The downtown has really suffered in the last few years across the board. We have numerous property owners that are struggling to maintain their commercial properties. So this affects, obviously, office, retail, other areas. We've had a lot of owners who've expressed to us that they can't support down at DCIC because they can't afford it. We have, numerous foreclosures, workouts, economic stress. Many property owners are just struggling to survive. We are at an inflection point right now where we are seeking a reauthorization of the SID. The SID expires on December 31st of this year, and we need to secure 60% of the vote of the owning members to continue it for a new period. So the support of the county and the city, we think, will assure the ongoing existence of the SID. I think, I don't know, I have the exact numbers, but I think we're at maybe 50% roughly in terms of approval through the current petitions, and we need another 10%. Again, I'm speaking in approximate numbers. I don't have the exact numbers, but I believe also if the county participates, that the county's support would be maybe 6% or so, representing. Oh, 3.5%. Okay, 3.5%. So we think that will be an important percentage to get us closer to our 60% threshold. So we're really talking about the ongoing existence of the organization, and we think it's absolutely critical for downtown Cleveland that we do remain in existence.
Okay, that was helpful. Thank you.
Maybe Chief Gallagher could step up to some of these questions. Did you have questions, Mr. Gallagher?
Yeah, what, you need 60% of what to stay in existence?
Mr. Chairman, to the councilman, to reauthorize the district, we need to secure petitions from property owners representing at least 60% of the linear front footage.
And you're at
in the
50?
district. We're probably around between 50 and 55.
Is this about our vote?
Mr. Chairman.
Because that's what Mr. Coyne basically said.
I think Mr. Chairman, the councilman, I think the vote is important and helpful. In my opinion, will exceed 60% with or without. I think that I think there's a distinction in our organization that's nuanced, but I'll try to elaborate on it because I think it speaks to the questions, Mr. Chairman, from Councilman Gallagher and Councilwoman Simon. The improvement district represents property owners in the district, and it is funded through a property assessment that everybody pays equally based on the same formula and is receiving, essentially the same services through the district. Our nonprofit arm, our community engagement arm, if you will, that funds most of our economic development and planning and programming and activation activities, engages a different group of stakeholders in the work of the organization, and is viewed differently by the property owner arm of the organization. And I think we're here today to speak on behalf of the property owner portion of the organization, and say respectfully to this committee that the support specifically for the improvement district, saying that the county is going to vote its property in and stand with other property owners that are paying into the district, and support specifically the clean and safe services, is a very important signal to the property owner portion of the organization. And we're here today to speak to that portion and the voting role of the county in the city. I can tell you resonates well with property owners who have appreciated the historic support from this body to the organization. Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, if I may borrow your phrase, I do think that to property owners it signals taking our partnership to a different level that is significant to the property owning membership of the organization.
But I don't know if that answers my question, because I know there's a schism of sorts within your organization. Mm-hmm. And as Mr. Coyne there said, you're around 50%. So that tells me half the organization doesn't agree. And my whole point to the administration from the beginning is I don't want to get into a scuffle between members of an organization and to become a member of an organization to swing a vote a certain way. And I don't think that's fair to either side, quite honestly, and it certainly isn't fair to us. My preference was, yeah, we could pass this, but I don't want to vote. But that's just me. We've been given, we can go back to 2006. I guess that's as far back as anybody historically can figure out what's going on here with our money. How far back can we go with Cleveland?
Mr. Chairman, to Councilman Gallagher, the county has certainly been providing a payment in lieu much longer than the city. The city of Cleveland does not provide a payment in lieu and has not provided a payment in lieu. Cities provided support for specific programs and services. So I would need to go back and look at that, but I would fully concede that the city, I'm grateful for the decision to opt in into the district, but that is a new move for them.
And again, I think that goes back to votes. The mere existence of this group, and let's put our cards on the table, is because you're not getting those services from the city that owes those to you. Yet here we are, the county, and we're 6.35% of the property. I guess that's how we determine the amount that we pay in. What's the percentage of property frontage, or how you calculate Cleveland has? I would imagine it's similar, at least, if not more.
Cleveland, 6% or so, what was it?
Mr. Chairman, to the councilman, the city's linear front footage in the district is closer to 15%.
And they're putting nothing in. They've really not historically done anything other than what they should be doing, but they're not doing what they should be doing, ergo the creation of the organization to help you, the property owners, maintain a downtown area that you can sell. I think we get that. My only hookup here is it seems clear that this is about our votes and Cleveland's votes to put you over the top to the 60. And while I wouldn't mind helping you do that, I don't want to take off the 40% or the 50% now. You're kind of putting us in a bad spot, which goes back to, I don't mind helping out. I really don't. But to be a voting member, and you said the county is already voting in these organizations?
I think, if I may, Mr. Chair and Mr. Councilman, we're talking about two different votes. One would be a vote on the reauthorization. Okay, so if you participate in the SID, you could vote on the petition for reauthorization. I think you were talking about a member of the board in terms of a voting member of the board. Those are two different votes.
You need a vote to continue on it.
Well, again, we're talking about two different types of votes. And so the one that I'm talking about is the vote for the reauthorization. Now, if I may, I think we're at a very, very unique point in history. This is, I mean, the organization has received, widespread support for over 20 years, but we're at this, point in time where we have so many property owners who are struggling just to, to make their debt service payments and pay operating expenses, that they're saying, look, I can't pay another $5,000 this year. I'm lucky to even keep my property. It's not that there's opposition to the organization, it's that there's a lack of income stream. And I think it's just it's a one-time point in history where we could use some additional support. Again, we could provide lists of all of the properties under extraordinary distress. And it's not just, office and retail. It's also residential. In the last 6 months, retail's taken a hit as well. So what we have heard from property owners is, can the county and the city provide additional support to get us through, this window of time, because we really, really need it at this moment in time.
well, can the county continue and can Cleveland maybe start?
I
Is what you're
think
saying.
Cleveland has agreed to, yeah, Cleveland has committed. Cleveland's in. Yeah. Yeah, they passed legislation at city council about a month ago. Yeah, we can provide.
You must be supermen because we can't get them to agree with anything with us.
Well, Michael did it, so congratulations, Michael, yeah.
But that's our struggle.
Yeah.
I just see this as an awkward, putting us in an awkward position,
I
quite
appreciate
honestly.
that. Appreciate that, yeah.
If it were, and if it's just a 60% to get you off to continue on and then not be a voting member, I could maybe agree with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Chairman and Councilman Gallagher, fully appreciate the perspective, and I do want to say to all of you, I do not believe that we're here in a situation of where we're saying to the county that the 3.5% or so of the linear front footage that the county would be opting into the district is going to make or break the organization. We will clear 60% with or without the county. We submitted in 2020, in the early days of the pandemic, when there was a ton of uncertainty in the office market, even more than there is today, in the middle of a campaign to increase the school levy and raise property taxes significantly. We were expanding the district at that time in probably the hardest imaginable environment. We submitted petition signatures from owners representing nearly 70% of linear front footage in the district. We'll do that again. I'm confident of that. We're only we're in the early stages of collecting signatures this time around. I think that so at one level we're happy and grateful to accept the support of the county in whatever form it comes. I will say I've been with the organization for about 14 years, leading it for 3, and the city, county, state, and federal government not opting their properties into the district has always been a sticking point for a significant group of owners, and that's, and again, I say that with particular respect to this body, because this body has supported the organization through other avenues and ways that other government entities have not over the years. But I go back to my perspective of taking the relationship to a different level. I do think having the county and the city and RTA in the improvement district locking arms with private owners, I think that's the power that helps address a lot of the concerns that property owners have expressed to me over the years about the organization. And I will say, I want to circle back, Mr. Chairman, Councilman Gallagher, to I think one of your questions about the services that are provided. One of the things that we're working on with the city as a result of city council opting in is to really define the base level of services that the city will provide in the district and the enhanced services that the organization will provide in exchange for the assessment. And that's something that's not really been done before. So we're working on that, and I think that will provide an added layer of assurance to private property owners and partners like the county that have opted in, that there's a base level of service that's being provided, an enhanced level of service that the improvement district assessments are supporting.
Let me ask this, and I'll move it along. Yes, sir.
If I may, Mr. Chair, Mr. Councilman, I want to correct any misimpression. I didn't want to create the impression that without your support, we will not continue. But I do want to say that with your support, I'm confident that we'll get the vote sooner than later, because a lot of property owners are saying, look, can we get full buy-in from all the public entities, because we're at this point. Also, there's been a serious wave of crime, which you're probably well aware of in downtown Cleveland. And there's a lot of property owners that are very, very unhappy with the level of safety services. So Michael and his team and Ed Eckert have been working, day and night with Cleveland Police, I think also with the county, to address these. But we have a number of measures in place, including, security cameras and additional security measures which we think are going to be transformative in the next 24 months. But again, I think that it's a really critical point in the history of this organization that we get over this hump, move on quickly so we can adopt these security measures.
Right, and I appreciate the position that you're in, because I have friends on both sides of this. So I'm in a no-win situation here. And the reality is again, I don't want to be the tiebreaker in a family fight. I think, and it's only what I think, I don't know what my colleagues think, is if we were to agree to vote to continue, so you can get that, but I don't even want to vote, to be honest with you, but to forward the monies, if we're agreeable with that, and then let you figure out how you're going to get to that 60% on your own. I think the signal from the county is, okay, we're giving you more money officially, and we'll have a seat at the table. We just don't want to be a voting member to be that new member of the family making the tiebreaker. You're asking, or it's requesting that $368,000 for 6.35%. Mr. Coyne said Cleveland's about 15%. So what's their addition? It got to be close to $1 million, right?
Mr. Chairman, to Councilman Gallagher, the city's contribution under the formula is right around $500,000.
But if they have 15%, we have 6.35. Our formula is 368. So that doesn't. Could you square that circle?
I'm first going to ask Chief Gallagher to clarify the numbers, and then Chief Gallagher.
Sure. The first year is actually $184,655. It's in Section 3 of the legislation. Now, that increases by just over 2% a year. So the full 7 years is that last line, which if you add up for the full 7 years is $1,387,000. The original parcel list that DCA gave us, we went back and forth with them, and we removed some of the parcels because we believe that they were Cleveland's responsibility. I think some naming issues on the county map, as well as some leases that we had, we removed. So these are the only parcels that we believed that we would be responsible for.
Okay, so you're saying over a 7-year period, it's 1 point?
Yes. $1,387,000 and some change.
What's Cleveland's input over a 7-year period?
Mr. Chairman, Councilman Gallagher, I can certainly get the specific number, but roughly $3.5 million. Because it's roughly $500,000 a year over 7 years.
Thank you.
So I can see what the benefit is to the organization. What's the actual benefit to the county on this?
Mr. Chairman, I believe that the benefit to the county is the signal to the property ownership in particular that the county is in joining the special improvement district and working with the owners in submitting itself to the same formula that private property owners pay into, signals a stronger, different level, higher level of support and partnership than has previously existed. I think that's the strongest benefit from my perspective to the county.
Chief Gallagher, do you have anything to say about that?
I think he answered the question the opposite way. I think, just to recapture what I was saying at the beginning, why we think this is important to the county is because we make an awful lot of investment downtown, millions and millions of dollars, Sherman-Williams Gateway, Convention Center. We have visitors coming in and out, thousands of employees down here. We have tons of real estate of our own here. So we just want to make sure that we are providing a level of need downtown to keep it safe, to keep it clean, as much as we can as our employees walk about. There's stuff, people go to the games, they leave litter, they leave beer cans. They do a tremendous job of making sure that the area is cleaned up after those games when, other people are not there.
All right, so thank you for making that simpler for
Sure.
me so I can understand what that was. Were there any objections or concern raised by other downtown property owners about this petition?
Mr. Chairman, we always have robust dialogue with property owners about the petition process. We do have owners who feel like that the only thing that the organization should be doing is providing clean and safe services. We have owners who would like to see us doing less in clean and safe and more in economic development and business attraction. So we're in constant dialogue with owners about making sure that we're providing that right balance of services. So I would say that there's not unanimity, but we've enjoyed a supermajority of support over 20 years, and I believe that supermajority still exists.
If the values of the property go up, will the county pay more on an annual basis?
Mr. Chairman, the short answer is no. The assessment is fixed and increases 2.35% each year. And that's the case for private property owners as well as public property owners.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Miller.
Through the chair, if this SID is reauthorized, how long is it reauthorized for?
Mr. Chairman, to Councilman Miller, it would be reauthorized through December 31st of 2032.
So it's 7 years, the same as what's in the legislation.
Mr. Chairman, Councilman Miller, that's correct.
And if it is reauthorized, does that mean that all the property owners are required to pay even if they say they can't afford it?
Mr. Chairman, Councilman Miller, yes, the special assessment is essentially a tax and is collected as a tax.
Okay. And to Chief Gallagher, am I correct that while what's in this legislation would be paid for by the general fund, at least part of the existing subsidies that we're paying were paid for from the economic development fund rather than the general fund?
Well, the Economic Development Fund is the general fund, but yes, we would have to talk about, it is currently coming out of Economic Development Department's operating support payments, which is general fund as well. So yes, it would minus the $130,000, would take that away. So it wouldn't be the full amount, just the difference between 130 and next year 180.
So would this money come out of the Economic Development Department's operating budget as well?
So we haven't determined that yet. We have a conversation with Paul Hurdick. I'd say on a couple of these parcels, we don't see paying for 100% out of the general fund. The last parcel, 102-01-007, is the BODD building, which is something that we would send over on their bill for direct services. And then parcel 10106-003, the Justice Center block, Tower 1, Cleveland owns part ownership, so we would bill them for part of that cost.
But the part that we paid for it would continue to come out of the Economic Development Fund budget, is that correct?
Possibly, yes, but general fund, yes.
So
Which
it's not
is-
been decided yet?
It has not been decided yet.
Okay. Final thing is that it's going to be up to the committee on where to proceed on this legislation, but I do think that we ought to approve the substitute, which gives us the correct numbers and the 7-year program. And so I would like to make a motion that we accept the substitute and make it the version of this resolution that's in front of the committee.
And I should have done that in the beginning, and I appreciate you doing that now.
It can be done either way.
I'm sorry, can I get some further explanation on that motion? What are you asking?
Accepting the substitute that was given to us.
Okay. That's all. Okay.
We have any discussion on that? We have a motion and a second.
We're just correcting and aligning the numbers.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so it should be okay. So
All
we,
in favor of that?
aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, Ms. Turner.
Thank you, through the chair. So first of all, I wanted to thank Mr. President. Thank you for the email of congratulations. And I wish my understanding of this process was as sage as my colleagues. But I wish I had just a little more time to try to get a better understanding of this process. So I just wanted to present that to the chair. If I don't know if we could hold this for further discussion, or maybe an opportunity for me to set up some meetings and talk about this a little further.
And do you have more questions that we haven't discussed so far?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And through the chair, because you brought up a term that I'm like, what is that? I'm looking through my dictionary over here, and I don't. Can you tell me what does, or one of my colleagues, participate in the SID? You talked about it being reauthorized. Okay, I don't know what a SID is.
Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Turner, Special Improvement District is a district that is organized under state law, which allows property owners in a district to petition their host city. So they sign a petition that says to the host city, we are interested in assessing ourselves an additional property tax in exchange for a set of enhanced services to the district. And in downtown Cleveland, we've had a downtown improvement district that's been operating since 2006. And our organization operates that district. It operates on a term of years that is agreed upon by the property owners. So the state law doesn't dictate how long and the term of an improvement district is, or how frequently it needs to be renewed. The current term of the district expires at the end of this year. We're working with property owners to reauthorize the district for 7 years to carry the district through 2032.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Chair, if I can clarify that as well. So there's about 1,000 SIDs around the United States, and they're typically referred to as SIDs or BIDs, Special Improvement Districts or Business Improvement Districts. Every state has their own statute. In Ohio, the SID, Special Improvement District, is a creature of an Ohio statute. And basically, as Michael explained, it provides for procedure by which property owners can get together and basically agree to tax themselves for enhanced services. So that's what we've done in 2006, and we hope to do that into the future.
I used to be a special education teacher. So I appreciate it, the explanation. Thank you.
Thank you. So I agree, we need to hold this until we can, find out where this money is going to be coming from, which you said general fund, but more specifically. The 180 question to Chief Gallagher comes from the increased property taxes. How did we go from 130 to 180? Is that because of the new property values? How did that?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, the historic support that the county has provided was not based on the formula. It was the level of support that the county was comfortable providing, but it wasn't tied to the property assessment formula.
And it's still not?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, it still is not today what the legislation we're seeking support on would.
The 180?
The 180 is what the county pays, would pay based on the formula that other private property owners in the district.
So right. So we're exempt, but it would otherwise divert to you. So it reflects the property, what the tax would be.
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes.
And I have a question about Cleveland. I'm not clear. We talked about what Cleveland's percentage is, 15%, I think, and that they would be paying an equivalent of X. Is that in dollars, or did I hear you say they're going to be providing services, the city of Cleveland? Are they giving money now?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, the city council opted in to the Special Improvement District last month. As a result of opting in, they will pay cash money, not services, not in kind.
Okay, not in kind. Okay.
They're making a financial contribution.
By virtue of them opting in, right? They have to, or not necessarily?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, so by opting in, they're obligating themselves.
Obligation.
And I would, it's similar to what's happening here with what I hope will be ultimately happening here at the county. I don't want to get out in front of myself. The city is currently providing operating support to the organization, a financial contribution for specifically for work around Public Square. The financial commitment that the city would make under the Special Improvement District would essentially lock that same amount in over the 7-year period. So, you know, similar. It's similar but different. It's similar in the sense that over the last couple of years, we've received support from the city, $500,000 a year. The Special Improvement District process would lock that amount in over a 7-year period.
This is in writing in their petition to opt in? Is it outlined in the Cleveland's petition? Chair?
So, Mr. Chair, Councilwoman Simon, it is the petition that would be signed by the mayor or in this case the county executive is the same petition that any property owner in the district would sign. Everybody signs the same petition that would obligate them for a 7-year period. We understand it's different with public bodies and that we're probably going to need to come back every year and work with you on how mechanically that works. But the obligation in signing the petition would be for a 7-year period.
That's it? Just a 7-year period? But there's no obligation for Cleveland to provide these ancillary services around Public Square, right?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, yes, I believe that's correct.
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, so I'd like to see, well, our staff can probably get whatever Cleveland passed. When is this reauthorization vote?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, we're in the process of collecting petitions. The way the process works, once we have petitions, we submit them to the City of Cleveland. There are 2 or 3 pieces of legislation that Cleveland City Council needs to pass in order to reauthorize the district. We need to have that process wrapped up by the middle of summer in order to not disrupt services in 2026.
And do you recall the vote 7 years ago to reauthorize, what the percentage of approval was to pass it?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, we submitted signatures to the city representing about 68% of the linear front footage in the district.
Okay.
So
Okay.
somewhere between 60 and 68%.
So the last question for now, I want to talk about our safety sheriff is going into these areas to provide security. And has there been consideration from the board or whatever entity that you represent in paying for the services that we've been providing from the county? Because we're providing not only the 130, but we're also providing free security Thursday through Sunday to this area, correct? So my question is, there been discussion about paying the county for this service?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, this issue has come up with some of our stakeholders, and I want to say at the outset, we're again grateful for the sheriff's deployment. We've had very real safety challenges, real and perceived in downtown over the last 2 years. Specifically, and we've invested reserves and extra resources in safety over the last 2 years. We've worked very closely with the city to increase recruiting and deployment on their end. Great, and the impact of the deputy sheriffs has been very real and very much appreciated. We've talked among the board leadership about, what role SID resources should play in supporting law enforcement and public safety specifically, and where, speaking on behalf of the board, we are right now is public safety is really a public responsibility that we want to support, that we want to use our services to augment, but there are concerns around liability and all sorts of things that we've dug into that we think it would be our best role is to work with the city and the county on how we can continue to bolster public safety patrols and augment with our services.
So okay, I appreciate that. It's a concern from, you want to say something, Mr.
If I may,
through the
Mr. Chair,
chair,
and
to Ms.
Councilwoman, yeah, a couple of things. Again, if I may, first of all, in terms of the vote, it's a rolling vote, so there's not a specific date where everybody shows up and says yes or no. We started this, a couple months ago? In November, yeah, number one. Number two, we are specifically asking you to opt in. We would like the county to be, a party to the SID. And we think we'd like to get it done sooner than later because the situation in downtown Cleveland is urgent. And the crime issue is critical. We need to resolve this. We have a number of measures that are either underway or in planning. We want to accelerate these immediately. And we think that with your support, that will encourage other support of property owners to participate to get us over that hump as soon as possible. Now, in terms of the sheriff's the patrol cars, I would just personally observe that I think the presence of those cars are immensely helpful. I don't think we've really been a party to the discussions in terms of the program that you have in place, but we would like to talk with you about this, and I think that we should be willing to help pay for it.
Thank you.
So, again, I think that we need to work together, and I think that if you could opt in and we could help pay for those services, we would be pleased to do so, because we see the sheriff patrol cars as a very visible presence of authority, which is essential right now in downtown Cleveland.
Okay, and I appreciate that response. So it's more than cars, by the way. They're getting out of their cars and chasing people down and whatever, taking guns. So that's it, I guess, for now, is that we need further discussion. I want to talk about the crime. It's gone down, right? Or would you say down or up in the last year?
Mr. Chairman, Councilwoman Simon, the crime statistics in downtown largely across the board are down over the course of the last year. Still too many car break-ins. I still think there's a lingering perception, but the numbers are trending in the right direction.
Okay, so for the committee, I would ask us to consider, whatever we're being asked to pay to join this in light of what we're providing with the sheriff impact unit and how that might dovetail. I think we've got to look at those two things together. That's it.
Thank you. We have one last question, and then we're going to make a decision.
So, to Chief Gallagher, as I read the petition, our first payment under this legislation doesn't take place until 2026.
That is correct.
So my question is whether it's the plan for 2025 to stick with the 130.
I'll ask Paul Herdick since he runs the.
Thank you. Good morning. Paul Herdig, Cuyahoga County Department of Development. At this time, we haven't yet finalized proposed operating support payments for the year 2025. There's a limited amount available, and we're still reviewing and considering where to direct those funds.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, from what I hear from my colleagues, I think we're going to hold this if that's what you want to do. We have a economic development meeting next week. There'll be a couple of items on that, so if you have questions and can get answers from those you need to get them from. If everybody's in agreement with that, I just make a motion that we hold this for at least a week.
Did you say a motion?
I did.
I don't think we need.
I make a motion that we hold it for.
We'll just hold it.
All right,
We're
we'll
just holding it.
Okay, then we're just going to hold it. All right, thank you for all of your information.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. I appreciate everybody's engagement and consideration and look forward to following up with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more, Ms. Turner.
Okay.
I'll be fast.
Okay, Sharon, we got one more to go.
Ordinance 2025-0002, enacting Section 802.06 of the Cuyahoga County Code to require economic development proposals submitted to County Council for approval to include and incorporate essential deal terms.
So I guess I can speak to this. I'm sponsoring this legislation, if that's okay, Mr. Chair, very quickly.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to vote on this today, but the purpose of this legislation is to make sure that when an economic development loan comes before us, that we have the essential terms incorporated into the legislation in case or in the event that those terms change, that the administration will go back to CCC, the committee that reviews the loans. So this would only apply to the loans that go before the committee, before they come to us. And if there's changes, that they have to go back to that committee and then come back to us. Because we're voting on security that we're agreeing to a loan with certain security measures in place, and that's in concert with CCCIC. I just want to make sure that if there's any changes down the road, that all the entities to which they sought approval will have to give it again. That's it.
Okay,
I think
so
it protects us.
Thank you. So Mr. Herdick came to me 35 minutes before the start of our meeting today and asked that we hold this till the next meeting on behalf of the administration. I will say that if administration wants to hold something, I'd certainly like more than a 35-minute heads up on that. So at this time, I think we will hold this also to the next.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to hear from Mr. Hurtig too, like what is it that you're looking into from the law department?
Thank you. First of all, to the chair, Paul Hurtig, Department of Development. Apologies, we had some internal discussion going on towards last week and resolved on Friday that that would be what we were seeking, and was able to reach the chair this morning, certainly hear the chair's request for additional lead time. Thank you. And to the councilwoman, I will say this is our practice, and there's some minor technical details we need to look at with the law department to make sure we don't delay our processing of loans by having legislation that has requirements in it that may be causing some additional delay. We haven't fully looked at that. We've had the law department look at it already. Just to give one example, something was spotted, and I don't mean to say this is the most important point. The law department advised us that currently we have developers that come to us in the process of loan closing, say for tax reasons, we need the loan to be made to this LLC we've created called LLC X. The law department can currently allow us to make the loan to the appropriate party without coming back to council. This legislation, as written, would require coming back to council for new consideration.
I don't think so.
To change the loan.
I don't think so, because it says material changes. So that I don't think that would be true. That's the technical substitution that would not require that. So maybe we do need to revisit this, but the law departments are lawyers too. And I think paramount is that what comes before us, you say it's your practice, but that's not what happened. You know that's not what happened with a previous loan. The reason this is coming forward is because there was a loan that you presented to us that went to the triple CIC, and we were told that the basis upon which we were voting was that we would have personal guarantees from the principals of that corporation. And then never did it come back to us until the last minute that the guarantees you were asking they be revoked to void those. And it never went back to the Triple C until we said something. So it's not been the practice. It has not. I just want to make that clear for the record. So that was an interesting last minute fiasco that certainly should not happen again. And if we're into protecting anybody, it should be the taxpayers, not a developer or somebody that's coming to look for a reasonable loan to close a gap.
All right, so we will hold this till next week. And is there any miscellaneous business? No miscellaneous business? So at this time, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.